It's essential for middle school students to hone their reading skills. This includes being taught how to think while they read. A skilled reader in middle school is able to discern, for example, the writer's purpose. A skilled reader understands the inferences in each chapter, which allows for a deeper understanding of the text. Starting in kindergarten, Powhatan students discuss what they read with their teachers. They learn to visualize and ask questions while they read. Teachers demonstrate how to reread confusing parts until the scene becomes clear. Even though our students have been honing their reading skills since kindergarten, we do not assume that each student walks into 6th grade a perfect reader. We begin the year by reading Hatchet as a whole group. The students are held accountable for their reading each day because we take book quizzes that focus on the inferences in each chapter. An inference question is one that is not conspicuously laid out or explained in the chapter. For example, in the beginning of the book, Brian chooses to look away and not talk to the pilot, even though they're the only two in the cockpit. Why? The students share different ideas, and they learn to differentiate between guesses and an inference based on evidence in the book. Because we practice this close reading deliberately and explicitly, the students internalize what it means to infer. They begin to approach reading differently. They're no longer reading just for plot, although that is essential. They're also thinking about the inferences while they read. One way the students practice close reading is they take notes while they read. We use sticky notes so the student can jot down important ideas while he reads. These brief notes help the student remember what he reads, and they also help him frame his questions and direct his thinking about the inferences found in each chapter. Inevitably, the students begin to say, "I knew you were going to ask that." They haven't become mind readers. They're beginning to approach the reading in a more deliberate way. Sure, that porcupine scene was surprising and painful, but why was it important? Why did the author, Gary Paulson, include that scene? They can determine that the porcupine invading Brian's space was the catalyst to fire, and therefore a pivotal part of the book. These thinking skills reveal themselves in our discussions and in the students' writing. And show us where we should probably put this porcupine issue. Robert.
Man versus nature.
No, why?
Because porcupine's part of nature, and it tried to hurt Brian.
It really tried to hurt Brian. I'd say it really tried to hurt Brian. The reason we begin the year by reading Hatchet together is I want the students to explore the different problems found in books. Our students can tell you that all books include a character, a setting, a problem, and a solution. Hatchet involves different types of problems, specifically man versus nature, and man versus self. After each chapter, we discuss which scenes illustrate a different type of problem. The tornado that wiped out Brian's fire is an example of man versus nature. Brian slapping the surface of the water when he sees his damaged and swollen face is an example of man versus self. The student's thinking begins to change as he continues reading. Our students focus their notes on the different problems they see in their books. For the rest of the school year, the students will be asked to differentiate between man versus nature, man versus self, and man versus society problems. All of these reading skills are taught directly here at Powhatan. No one arrives being an expert reader. Our students participate in lessons that teach them how to think while they read. Taking book quizzes each day helps the student focus in on the inferences in each chapter. Taking notes while reading helps the students remember the important parts of the plot, which then helps them discern the main idea and the author's intent. Learning about different types of problems helps the student change his approach to reading as he asks, "What type of problem is this?" We value reading. Our students are avid and voracious readers, but more importantly, they think while they read. Our book discussions become richer and more in-depth as the year continues. The students' writing becomes more organized and better supported as the year goes on. And in upper school, it all starts with Hatchet.
Because when the tornado took everything away, it made him mad at himself, and then when the plane turned around, that was kind of the end point.
And where would you put that again?
Man versus self.
Right, because it was psychological.
Yeah.
Very good.
Very
It
simple.
was toward the end of the book. Why could this porcupine scene not be at the end of this book? There is a reason why it can't. Ellie, why can't it
Because
be?
when he threw his hatchet, it made sparks on the wall, on the rock, and that is what led him to create a fire.
Right, so we had to have that fire in the middle of the book, or I think we would have probably had a dead character. We had to have the fire. Now, who can think of something that was a man versus self somewhere around here, somewhere around here?
Oh,
It's going to show us. Why?
Because he saw himself on the pond,
Yeah.
and he thought he was so ugly.